This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so last class I was talking about few terminologies over here. So we discussed everything in detailed manner, like what you mean by a client or a company code, how it works out. Then we have checked out a term called as a plant. So what is the functionality of a plant? So plant is used for inventory management and production activities. And inside the plant, we try to maintain multiple storage locations over here. So these storage locations are nothing but subdivision of a plant. And why we require to maintain this storage location to get stock count report, and for stock rotation process, we try to maintain plants, store locations. And then we have discussed what is a depot. This is purely and there will no production which we organization functionality of it. So sales org is going to be responsible for sales. So for one company, we have multiple can be used domestic sales like this we can maintain or based on zone multiple set whom we try to say
Mr.
the
Jairam, is
dealer,
there any
bulk buyer.
network issue on your side?
Can you hear me or not?
Can, but it's like your voice is not clear.
Now it is clear.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Uh, okay. So we discussed this one, like how to work out with distribution channels as well. Like every company will be having their own set of customers because for all the customers selling price will be not going to be the same, or the discounts, payment methods, or delivery terms will be not the same. So which we try to call it as a distribution channel over here. So how to make sure the product is going to be reaching the customer on time. That's what we have discussed. And then we looked after division over here. So how to work out with a division. Like group of collection of products is what we are going to be calling it as a division. Group of collection of products. So if one company is trying to sell different range of products over here, then each and every range we are going to be calling it as division. And then we also looked after what you mean by a sales office, which is nothing but point of contact. So between customer and the company. So as a customer, if you're interested in purchasing any particular product, we try to basically get into the sales office for that, for purchasing the stock. And then we have also discussed who will be called as a salesperson. So salespersons are nothing but the people who are going to be working out in the sales office. People who work in the sales office, we are going to be calling them as salespersons. And these salespersons are going to be divided into groups over here. So each group have their own responsibility of how they are going to be working it out. And then we have looked after a topic called as purchase organization. Why we need to work out with this purchase org. So this purchase org is going to be responsible for purchasing the stock. So whatever stock is required for the company, it's basically the purchasing team who will be taking care of it. They try to purchase the stock over here. And then we have worked out with credit control area as well. So the use of this credit control area is basically trying to fix up the credit limit of the customer. Okay. So in case if company is trying to offer the goods on credit, so up to what value the credit limit need to be issued. So that is going to be fixed by our credit control area department over here. And we have an FI guy who will be doing this one. So these are the terms what we have basically checked out in our last class. Now there are two more terminologies. One on the name of controlling area. One on the name of controlling area over here. Now what exactly is the use of this controlling area? Now they try to basically fix up the price. Fix up the price of the product. At what price we need to sell the product in the market, that particular price is going to be fixed by this controlling area over here.
Sir, can you please increase the voice low? It is very low.
Can you hear me now? Is my voice clear?
Yes.
Okay, now see. So here, this is going to be the department controlling area. And what they do, they try to basically fix up the price of the product. So at what price we need to sell the product in the market, that price is going to be fixed by the controlling area over here. That's what this department is going to be doing it. So this concept is what we are going to be calling it as product costing over here. In SAP terms, we call it as product costing, or you can also call it as COPA, which stands for Costing and Profit Analysis. Costing and Profit Analysis. At what price we need to sell the product in the market, that price will be given by the controlling area. So it's not going to be the sales team who will be fixing up the price. It's always going to be the controlling team who will be fixing up the price. Now, why like that? Because the CO team is going to be working with MM. Know the raw material costing. At what price we purchase the raw material. Then CO team is going to be working with PP department to know the costs involved in manufacturing the product, to know the product costing, production costing. So how much amount need to be spent on manufacturing a particular material, like what are going to be the wages need to be paid to the labor, or infrastructure rentals, or power cost, water cost. All those things are going to be taken into consideration over here. Then CO team is going to be working with SD department to know the cost involved in promotion. How much amount need to be spent on promoting a particular product. So all these factors are going to be taken into consideration over here. All these factors will be taken into consideration to fix up the price of the product. All these values will be taken into consideration to fix up the price of the product. Okay, so never sales department independently will go for fixing up the price. It will be trying to work with all these departments over here. Okay, so this is one team. So like we have a CO consultant who will be doing this activity. CO consultant. So CO consultant need to be having a knowledge on MM module, PP as well as SD. Then only they can go for working out with the pricing part. Okay, and followed by last one, which we try to call it as a loading and unloading points. Loading and unloading points. So where stock will be loaded and unloaded. So this loading and unloading points is what we try to call it as shipping points over here. There's a term used, shipping points. When we talk about this shipping point, this is nothing but place where stock will be loaded and unloaded. So nothing but place where you receive the stock, where you dispatch the stock. So we normally call it as inbound delivery, where you receive the stock. And stock going out of the company, we call it as outbound delivery. Inbound and outbound. Inbound means stock coming in. Outbound means stock going out. So this inbound delivery is nothing but when transaction is done between company and the suppliers. If company required any stock, they need to place an order to the supplier, and suppliers are going to be the one who will be issuing the material. So when transaction is done between company and the supplier, then we try to talk about it as an inbound delivery. When transaction is done between customer and the company, so whenever customer place an order to the company need to issue it. That means stock is going out of the company. Then we talk about this as an outbound delivery. So inbound and outbound. Inbound stock coming in, outbound stock going out. So this concept in SAP, we try to call it as goods receipt. Outbound delivery, we call it as goods issue. So always remember this one. This is going to be taken care by MM, and this is going to be taken care by SD over here. This will be taken care by MM, and this will be taken care by SD. Okay. And this is going to be created by in some of the projects by SD consultant, or if you have a separate consultant, so those guys are going to be responsible for this. But we required a shipping point for dispatching the stock, for receiving the stock. This is basically used for inbound and outbound delivery. Okay, so please remember all these terminologies, what we are going to be working it out. Please try to work out with all these things. You need to be having a good knowledge with all these things. Okay. Now, using all these things only, we are going to be working out with our enterprise structure. Without knowing all these terminologies, we cannot work out with them. We cannot work out with them. Now, let's try to work it out over here. So, how it's going to be done. So, I'm just trying to explain one of the business model today for which we are going to be doing the implementation. And based on that, let's try to do the configuration. So the easiest one itself, I'm just trying to take it for explanation purpose. Now let's say I'm trying to take up a company called as Samsung over here. There's a company, Samsung. And we know what exactly the Samsung company is all about. Now the Samsung company is trying to sell electronic goods, and they are trying to sell the products across the globe. It's not that they try to sell the products only in one geographical location. In multiple geographical location, they are trying to sell the products over here. Okay, and we are trying to do the implementation for Samsung company. We're trying to do the implementation for Samsung company. So they try to basically sell what? Electronic goods. Try to sell basically electronic goods over here. Now I'm just trying to show you a few things. Now you can see, first thing, here the website is coming as India, Samsung India, because as I said, Samsung is selling the products at different geographical location. So based on this geographical location, we are going to be doing the configuration required. Okay, and you can see what are going to be the products they are trying to offer it to the customer, like mobile phones, TVs, home appliances, computing products, display products. These are the different range of products what they are trying to offer it. Okay. And if you want to explore all the things like where exactly the stores are, all that information also is going to be available over here itself. Okay, now you can see these are all going to be the product ranges, product and services. Or if you click on the store locator, they're having multiple stores. They're having multiple stores from where they are trying to sell the product. So each and every store, we are going to be mapping it as what? A sales office. So for this Samsung, we are trying to do the implementation. Okay. So that's the reason I'm trying to take up this one so you can easily understand the business process. So first thing what we do, every company is going to be having their enterprise structure which need to be configured, or you can also call it as an organizational structure. Every company will be having an enterprise structure or an organizational structure which need to be configured. So once you develop this one, then only we can go for recording day-to-day transactions. Otherwise, we don't record any day-to-day transactions. Okay, so company organization structure need to be configured, and this company organization structure is going to be based on number of organizational units, based on multiple organizational units. Uh, what all things we have discussed till now, the storage locations, depots, sales stock, these are all going to be addressed as organizational units. So we need to create all that organizational units in SAP and then only start recording the transactions. Okay. I'm just trying to start doing the configuration from financial accounting. In real time, you will be not given any access to work out with financial accounting, but here I'm trying to work it out because we don't have an FI consultant to do the necessary configuration for this. So I'm trying to do it. Okay, because we have an SD integration going on with the finance department. So for that, we need to do some configuration on the financial accounting. Now, how to start doing it? Now, let me try to log in. Okay, now see. As I mentioned, once you log in into SAP application, we call this one as a front-end application, easy access. And on this particular screen, it basically our end users who are going to be working on it. Okay, we don't work over here. So first thing we need to basically get into the backend by executing a transaction code SPRO. Then click on SAP reference IMG, and this how the screen is going to be looking, which we call it as a display IMG screen. Display IMG screen. And this is the place where we are going to be doing all the developments which is required for the business. So under this display IMG, you can see an option by the name enterprise structure. That's going to be the one. Enterprise structure. Okay, and in case if you want to know what exactly you mean by this, so there is a documentation available. You can simply click on this documentation and you can read the information provided. What exactly this enterprise structure is all about, what type of information it's going to be providing us. What type of information it's going to be providing us over here. Okay. Here what I try to do, I'm just trying to basically click on this drop down icon. Click on this drop down icon over here. And here there are two things we need to focus on, definition and assignments. Definition and assignment. So under definition, we are going to be defining each and everything. So whatever organization units I've explained as of now, all that organizational units are going to be done over here under definition. And once we're done with the definition, then we try to work out with the assignments, where we try to maintain the link between one organizational unit with the other one. One organizational unit with the other one. So let's try to start working out with the definition side. So if you get into definitions, we have different modules. So you can see financial accounting, controlling, logistics, general, sales and distribution, LE. These are all going to be the modules. Now what we try to do, let's try to start working out with the financial accounting. And once again, if you want to know what this FI stands for, there is a documentation available. You can click on it and we are able to see everything. What exactly this finance module is all about. They try to take care of GL accounting, accounts maintenance. Okay, that's what this team is going to be doing. They take care of account maintenance. Nothing more than that. Nothing more than that. Now here, so if you get into this financial accounting over here, we have a lot of things. These are all going to be what we try to call it as an organizational units. Starting with the first one, where we try to go for creating a company. For which company you want to do the implementation, that company details need to be stored over here. But in real time, as I mentioned, this activity will be taken care by the FI guy, not by SC, not by SD. But we don't have an FI consultant to work out. We are trying to do all the configurations required. So what we do, if you click on this activity, define company, this is how the screen is going to be looking. And right now we are trying to work out with the demo server. You can see the lot of entries provided. And this server, a lot of people are also trying to work on it. So there is a lot of data maintained. But in real time, this particular screen is going to be entirely blank. This particular screen is going to be entirely blank because we are going to be working out on a license server. So this screen is going to be entirely blank. Now, how to create our entries? So to create our entries, you need to basically take the help of new entries icon over here. And for each and every organizational unit you're going to be working it out is going to be having a code maintain. You'll be seeing a code maintain. And the length of the code for few, it's going to be 6 letters. For few, it's going to be 4 letters. For few, it's going to be 2 letters as well. Okay. So for depending upon it. These are all going to be the standards. No need for you to do anything. By default, the length is going to be fixed up. Now, how to maintain? Try to take the help of new entries icon over here and maintain all the details. And maintain all the details. So these are nothing but we are going to be calling them as fields. In these fields, we are going to be updating the values. First one, I'm just trying to maintain the code over here. Let's say I'm just trying to maintain it as a Samsung. It's a code. And here I'm trying to maintain the description for this. Samsung Electronics. And if there is any second name for this particular company, you can maintain that particular second name, or you can leave this particular field as blank and try to capture the address. So all this address information need to be provided by the client. So in our requirement gathering sessions, we are going to be sitting with the client and we collect all this information. Okay, we are going to be selecting all this information. So here I'm just trying to maintain the street information. So at the moment I'm trying to maintain dummy values. I'm trying to maintain all dummy values over here. Postal code, city, country, language. So language, I'm trying to select it as EN and currency of transaction, which is going to be INR. It's going to be my currency of transaction. So maintain it, click on enter. Okay. And now we need to basically save this one. We need to basically save this one. We are trying to save this particular entry over here. So you can use shortcut as Ctrl S for saving the data or click on this particular icon as well. So if you click on the save icon, we get our request. Okay, and we have an importance for this particular request as well. So we need to know what exactly this request is all about. Now this is nothing but I'm going to be calling it as a transport request over here. We're going to be calling it as what? Transport request. What is the use of this transport request? So with the help of this transport request, we are going to be transporting the data from server to server. If you want to move the data from one server to server, we take the help of transport request. Or if you want to move the data from one client to another client, they're all going to be your system thing. Don't get confused with the client what I've explained. That's totally related to the system. Now, server to server, because in SAP we are going to be having three different types of servers to work out. One, we call it as a development. Second one, quality. Third one, production. To move the data from one server to another server, we try to take the help of this transport request. Okay. And in case if you want to move the data from 800 to 810, you want to move the data from 800 to 810, then also we try to take the help of transport request. This is nothing but to copy the data from one system to another system. Okay, there's nothing but transport the data, move the data. Nothing more than that. Nothing more than that. Okay, and who will be responsible for moving all the data from one system to another system? It's going to be basically the basis consultant who will be responsible for moving the data. It's going to be the basis consultant who will be responsible for this. It's not going to be LC consultant who will be doing this activity. It's going to be basically basis consultant who will be doing this activity over here. Okay. Basis consultant will be responsible for moving the data. Please remember this particular points over here. And there are going to be basically two types of transport requests to focus on over here. There are going to be two types of transport requests. One, we call it as customization request. And one, workbench request. One, we call it as a customization request. Second one, workbench request. So you need to know basically the difference between all these two requests, how it works out. One, we call it as a customization request. Second one, workbench request. So this customization request is what we are going to be calling it as client dependent. We're going to be calling it as client dependent. Whereas workbench request, we are going to be calling it as client independent. What you mean by this client dependent, independent, all these things we are going to be looking after in the future. In our project classes, I try to explain you how to use this one because it is too early for me to explain the difference between these two. Now, how to identify what is the request in which you are going to be saving the data? It's going to be simple. By default, it will be shown up over here. What is the request in which you're trying to save the data? So right now you can see we are trying to update the data in our customization request over here. We are trying to save the data in customization request. Okay? And this is going to be the request number. So all these request numbers are going to be maintained by whom? By our basis consultant. So no need to generate any kind of request number. They will be maintained by the basis consultant. Okay, please remember this particular points over here. And every request will be having a request number, request description, sorry. Now this description we can maintain it. Okay, and you can see this is an existing request which I'm not going to be using it because this request is going to be used to work with the customer master. Someone has created this request. We are not going to be using it. So if you want to create your own request, then how to create it? So we have an option by the name new request over here. You need to click on this particular icon, create request. You need to click on create request icon over here. In case if you want to create any new request, simply click on this one. So if you click on this, the screen is going to be looking. So request number is going to be automatically getting generated nothing to worry about it. And then whatever description you want to maintain for it, this is the place where you're going to be updating it. There's a place where you're going to be maintaining the description for the request. Okay, so here I'm just trying to maintain it as a Samsung price structure. Samsung enterprise structure. And you can see who is the user who has created this particular request. The username will be getting displayed up over here. Date information, client, in which client we are trying to create it. That client details also will be shown up. So that's the reason I was mentioning in my last class, like you are not going to be supposed to share your credentials with any other user in the company. What happens, your configuration you have done is going to be in a risk. So you can do all the changes and everything is going to be getting recorded. So please remember, everything is going to be getting recorded over here. Okay. So try to click on save, and there's the request what we have created. And this is going to be the request number. There's going to be the request number. So in real time, all these values need to be shared to the basis consultant, and then only he will be moving the data. Then only he will be moving the data. So try to click on continue icon over here and done. So values has been saved in SAP application over here by the name Samsung. Okay, that's how you try to go for it. So in real time, we need to maintain that request documentations as well. So how to maintain that request documents and everything, we try to discuss it later, not at the moment. Okay, but this is how you do the configuration. Now, once you're done with this, you can just come back. Okay, and in this particular screen, if you want to search for the entry, what you have created, you can get that information. You need to simply click on position icon over here. So click on this position icon. So select whatever company we have created. I'm trying to maintain the name Samsung, and click on continue. It will be taking us to that particular location where our entry has been updated. So if you click on it, you can see. And if you want to look for the details maintained for this particular entry, you can also do that. You can simply click on or select that particular entry over here and get into details icon. Get into details icon over here. So if you click on this details icon, you can see these are the values maintained for our entry. And all these fields are in editable mode. So if you want to do any kind of changes to any particular field, you can do that. But the code, you can't do any kind of changes. Code, you can't do the changes. Rest of the things, you can do the changes over here. Rest of the things, you can do the changes. Okay. So that's how you try to basically go for creating a company in SAP by maintaining all the required values. Simple thing. And then we need to work out with the second step, which we call it as a credit control area. So we already discussed what this credit control area is going to be doing it. As I mentioned, it tried to fix up the credit limits. So how much value customer can take the goods on credit from the company, that is going to be fixed by our credit control area over here. That it will be fixed by our credit control area. Now, how to create this credit control area? So if you click on this particular activity over here, click on this particular activity, this is how the screen is going to be looking. This is how the screen is going to be looking over here. Okay. So you can see the code for credit control area this time is going to be of 4 letters. It's of 4 letters. Okay. So for each and every organization unit, the code length is going to be getting varied. For few, it is going to be of 4 letters. For few, it's going to be of 3 letters as well. Now, how to create our credit control area is what we are going to be checking it out over here. Now, to create our credit control area, you can simply take the help of new entries icon. take the help of new interest icon over here. So if you click on this new interest icon, this how the screen is going to be looking. This how the screen is going to be looking. Now, what all things you need to do over here? You just need to maintain the code. So whatever code you want to specify it for our credit control area, you need to maintain that particular code over here. You need to maintain that particular code. Just give me a second, guys. Okay, now see, so I'm trying to maintain the code for our credit control area. So I'm just trying to maintain it as SACC. That's the code which I'm trying to maintain it. Okay, there's the code which I'm trying to maintain it over here. And here you can't maintain the description for this because this field is in the display mode. So if the field is in display mode, you cannot maintain the description. Just leave it as it is and try to capture currency. So currency of transaction, I'm trying to maintain it as INR over here. I'm trying to maintain it as INR. These are the only two fields you are going to be maintaining it. So we are not going to be maintaining any other fields. We are going to be leaving everything as blank. Everything as blank. So when required, under SDFI configuration, we are going to be coming back to this particular screen and try to maintain the values as well. So at the moment, we are trying to leave all the fields as blank itself. Leave it as blank, click on enter and try to save this one. So we got our request, same request in which we are going to be saving the data. There's the same request in which we are going to be saving the data. You're not going to be creating any new requests. Already we have created a request. So we are going to be using that particular request itself for saving all the information. Now I'm just trying to click on continue and done. So credit control area has been created up over here. And we have created it on the name what? SACC. That's the one. And there's a currency in which the transactions are going to be getting recorded. There's a currency in which transactions are going to be getting recorded. Okay, so check out this one and done. And if you want to update the description for our credit control area, now where to go, how to update it. You can just come back. You can just come back and here you can maintain the description for that. So here I'm trying to maintain it as a Samsung credit control area. I'm trying to maintain the description. So click on enter and save this one. Okay, it has been saved. Now, if you once again select that particular entry over here and get into details, you can see. So whatever description we have maintained for that is going to be shown up. And once again, it's in the display mode. Okay? Or you can call it as a gray mode. You can't do any kind of changes to this. You can't do any kind of changes to this. Okay. So this is a concept of how you try to go for creating a credit control area. So always make sure, so whatever entries we have created, you make a note of all that entries. First one we have created on the name of company, Samsung, and one credit control area on the name of SACC. That's the one. These are the two steps what we have done it over here. Okay. Now third step, we need to work out with company code. It's going to be our third step. How to work out with this company code, let me try to take it up in tomorrow's class, because none of you have the access to server to work out. Like once I'm done with this class, I'm going to be sharing you the server access so you can start working on it. Then it is going to be more easy for me as well to take up more things and try to explain it. So let me stop it. So I try to share these things. Please go through it, work it out, and let me know. Okay. So
Sriram, I have
yeah,
one doubt. As you said that business consultant will be the responsible who will be moving the data from one to one. Then who is going to tell them to move the so-called data from one place to other place?
project manager.
Okay.
If he is giving the instructions, then only they will be doing all the data movement. Otherwise, no.
And once we done the control credit control area, it's like SACC the code. Is there any possibility to, if we want to change this control credit control area, is there any possibility to change
No,
after going logging in?
no. Once you have maintained the code, that is going to be fixed up. So if you want to change it, you need to delete the entry itself.
Okay.
You need to delete your entry and then again redo it. That's how it's working. Okay. Right, guys. So let me meet up tomorrow and we try to get into it. In the meantime, let me share whatever the content I need to do it so you can work it out.